each bracket. So,
Of course.
so for a big bracket, there's 4 1 seeds.
Yeah.
Hopefully that was clear as mud. But
Yeah.
so in this case, we definitely have 3 of the 1 seeds like completely firm that we're positive about, but there's one of them that we're still going back and forth between 2 people. And so I'll say this, like the 1 seeds are who you think they're going to be.
Right.
Just by definition, there's not going to be a big surprise there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like go off the top of your head, who should the 1 seeds be? We'll do it this way.
Well, I would, if we're not sticking to DC and Marvel only, but I would definitely, the top 4 would probably be in both of those, like
Yes.
a Batman and a Superman on the DC side. Their argument could be made, you might put Wonder Woman slot here between instead of Superman or instead of Batman, but I think those 2 would definitely be the 1 seeds from there. And then for Marvel, Spider-Man and Captain America probably would be mostly because they were the most important. Like Captain America was the first one because he came out in the 30s and 40s, and then Spider-Man was kind of the vanguard of the entire revival of the Marvel universe. But I don't know how right I am or whatever. But,
okay, well, so you're dead on.
Oh wow, okay.
We'll just go ahead and do this. Let's do this.
Oh boy, okay.
If you're listening,
it's an exclusive.
This is an exclusive. So if you're listening to this, you're going to find out these 1 seeds before anybody else. So congratulations. So you're dead on Batman, Superman, Spider-Man.
Okay.
So our 4th one, we're going back and forth between Cap, like you said, and Iron Man. And the reason for Iron Man,
it's a civil war, man.
It's totally a civil war.
Right.
First of all, it's the civil war. But secondly, because right now, the zeitgeist in the world right now is all about the MCU. And the MCU matters. Like the MCU factors into this. It has to.
Right.
Like in a big way. It's not just the comic books. So, and the entire MCU is built on Iron Man. He's the face of it. And I know Cap is important, and I love Cap.
Oh yeah. I can see your argument. I can totally see what why you would say, because Iron Man was the first. I think Iron Man was definitely the first for this like iteration of the movie, the Marvel movies especially.
And not only was he the first, he was also, and I don't want to get into spoilers here for folks that haven't seen Endgame, but let's just say he's probably the major figure in Endgame as well.
Kind
of the first and the last, sort of.
Yeah.
So these are the debates we have, right?
Right. And
the knockdown dragouts.
Yeah, you can think about like arguments for both. So it's very interesting. I can see it, but here I'm pulling, when it comes to odd characters in comics, I'm hoping I see a Howard the Duck. Now, without judging it for the movie was pretty bad,
of course.
But Howard the Duck is a great comic character, so I'm pulling for him. Maybe a Plastic Man, some of these weird, obscure comic book characters. But I guess we'll see. I mean, it sounds it's going to be a lot of fun. I definitely will be in there fighting tooth and nail for my votes, and I really, really appreciate the Bracket of Champions for giving us this distraction. So, but before I let you go, can you remind listeners where they can find Bracket of Champions and when the next big bracket's going to be coming up?
Yes. So you can always find us at our Facebook group, which is Bracket of Champions. Just look us up on Facebook. That's where all of the interaction happens. All of those arguments, all of everything. There's almost 2,000 people in that group right now.
Wow.
And we've got some real arguers, and it's become this little kind of community, and it's a lot of fun. So that's where a lot of that action happens. The voting actually happens at bracketofchampions.com, so you can always go to bracketofchampions.com to vote. We're going to kick off superheroes with this new thing we're doing called micro play-ins on March 8th.
Oh boy.
So
coming
March 8th, it's coming up very soon. It's very exciting, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, well, me too. And thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate this. And I definitely will be involved in the Bracket of Champions here very heavily. And I will probably pout if my guys don't win. But that's okay. It only lasts a day or two. But Princess Bride is not a comedy, and I will die on that hill. Thanks so much for coming in, John.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. Well, if you like what you heard there, what we were talking about with John, what he had to say, or if you're just really feeling left out watching your friends and your coworkers fill out those brackets and you want to take part in Bracket of Champions, well, you can head on over to Facebook. You can search for Bracket of Champions, or I will make it even easier for you. I will link to that on my Facebook page. Click on through that, like the page, tell them that I sent you. Yeah, because this is not just me being benevolent here. I'm trying to win a prize. Well, first of all, I love Bracket of Champions. It's my favorite thing on the internet right now, besides my podcast. But if they get to 2,000 likes, the person who sends or refers the 2,000th like gets something free, a prize. And I want to win a prize. I need to win, people, so help me get there. Yeah. And to, tie into that whole thing, who is your favorite superhero? Who do you think will win that big bracket? I have my ideas. I have my favorites that I'm going to fight for. You can let me know by sending an email to peaceloveandrobotspod@gmail.com. That's peaceloveandrobotspod@gmail.com. Or, if you're so inclined, you can leave me a voicemail at 585-371-8986. That's 585-371-8986. When I hear from you, I just might share it on the next episode. So just remember, try to keep it clean, all right? And don't forget, I am working on another podcast that I think you'll love if you're a pro wrestling fan. If you're tired of the same old wrestling podcast that talks about results and the latest angles and heel turns and ratings and all that other stuff, those are fine, but you can find those everywhere. This is a different podcast. It's called Wrestling Makes You Think, where we just ask questions and we say what they make us think of, and they're all wrestling related. It's a lot of fun. This week, we asked the question, what do gassy dancers, shamrock shaking, and a black tooth grin make you think of? Yeah, it's a fun one. And if you have the time, I'd love for you to go and rate, review, and share both shows. That's the only way I can get more listeners. If you share it, if you review it, if you rate it. We're not hard to find, everybody. Look for us on Apple and Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and most recently, Audible. Peace, Love, and Robots is here to remind you that as the great poet Bret Hart, not the wrestler, once said, the only sure thing about luck is that it will change. So, go out and change your look for good. Your luck, not your look. Go out and change your luck for good, and I'll learn how to speak English. See ya!